Welcome to week 7 of On Top the Cage, the touchdown week edition of the show, I guess, or at least
I can't believe it's 7 already.
week 7. Yeah, I guess it's, touchdown and successful extra point, I guess. Related news math is still hard. Anyway, back to our traditional two-man booth. Everybody knows Dan and myself.
Yeah, Teddy's gone. Back in Atlanta.
He is. Big thank you to Teddy, my brother-in-law, who was the monkey in the middle last week. He did very well, but we'll get to the last week's pick in a bit. Not quite yet, I don't think so.
How many people voted online about the dog bed?
0.
Nice.
0.
We had comfortable.
Yes, I put up I've been posting more on the On Top the Cage Facebook page, if you will. I put pictures of Dan and Ted in the dog bed. I made a dog bed over the summer out of like nothing, stuff we had around here. There was a wood pallet in the back property I made. Or not made.
It actually came out really good.
It did. It's awesome.
Really good.
I brought it up. It's sized almost perfectly. I had to cut a little bit off. We had some scrap wood. The only thing I had to buy was the actual bed. I think it cost me like $50. The dogs love it, but so do Dan and apparently Ted. So, yeah, Teddy, dude, seriously. It was a long day for Ted when he was up here last weekend. He came in on Saturday, but he left Atlanta Hartsfield Airport like at 8:30 in the morning or something like that. And I saw a picture of a Bloody Mary like 7:38 in the morning that went on the boy's text. He'd been drinking all day, so it was like 10 o'clock at night. I don't know why I'm telling the story. It wasn't on the board, but it's here and real, and we're going to talk about it. But it was like 10 o'clock at night, and I was watching that very good Alabama A&M game. That was 2 weeks ago, I guess.
2 weeks ago.
Right. So the girls are inside kind of catching up, me, Ted's wife, and my wife, Katie. And just Ted and I out here, and he lays in the bed, and he's got sunglasses on for some reason. He says they're prescription. I don't know. But he flat out fell asleep. He asked me for a pillow. I gave him one. Like, it wasn't Posturepedic or anything like that. It was off the deck. I mean, it was moldy. It was green. He thought it was perfect, but he's snoring so loud. Like, I had to turn up the volume at one point in time because the game was so good. Anyway, I'm not sure how we got into that. I don't want to miss this, though. My sister Carlene, it's her birthday today. We got any other little shout-outs like that to do, Dan?
No, none for me.
All right. Last week I told you what was going to happen here. Connor was coming home, and that was the reason for the beer review. That was Ohio State, kind of geared. In any event, all that stuff happened. Thursday night football happened here in the garage with the Bears playing. Made chili. We played golf on Friday at the Sanctuary, which is in North Canton.
Yeah.
Yeah, Connor, Keaton, and I. It was a perfect course for us, though, because Keaton's kind of just beginning to play. It's a shorter course, but it's in great condition. So, yeah, we had a great weekend. All that stuff happened.
That Friday you golfed? That Friday was a nice day.
Oh, well, yes, it was. I mean, it was a little bit chilly, but it was nice. We played like 11 in the morning. We got through it. It was fun. It was a ton of fun. So, but Thursday night football out here in the garage. The Bears played Washington. Obviously didn't go that well.
What a fantastic game on prime time.
No kidding. They got to stop playing the Bears on prime time. They embarrass themselves every time they're there. Thursday night football, though, we were over capacity at the Flying Turtle Lounge here, my 12 by 12. Myself, Katie, Connor, Keaton, Teddy was in town still. And then Brian came over with his girlfriend and another girl. And like a new person that I've never seen before or met. But meanwhile, he comes in like the middle of the fourth quarter, and it's just not a good look to bring somebody new over here. I mean, Velus Jones just muffed a punt. I'm screaming at the television. It was not ideal at all over here. So anyway, want to do beer review and talk some more?
Absolutely.
All right, beer review is what, Dan?
Devil's Boil.
Yes, sir.
Who makes this?
It is from the Homestead Beer Company. I picked it for a couple of reasons. Ooh, I hope it's not frozen. You can see Dan and I's attire. It's cold. I mean, really freaking cold. That's the reason why I picked it. Dan, what's
habanero and mango infused 6.66 alcohol by volume. I'm sure that 666 is.
Yeah, that's not great either. I never thought about that.
Yeah.
Yes, I picked it up. We might need to warm up a little bit here. It's maybe 40 degrees right now, Dan.
Yeah, with some wind and rain.
Uh-oh. I think I mispoured. Anyway.
Snowed yesterday here.
What is that, a crocodile? alligator. I think it's a crocodile. Do you know the difference between a crocodile and alligator?
No.
I mean,
it's
I'm
got
talking about the can
pointed
presentation right
ears.
now.
I don't know if it's a dragon.
The Homestead Beer Company, another reason why I picked this beer, is based in Heath, Ohio, which is the main city in Licking County. You tasting habanero? Because it might give me the hiccups if it's really strong.
No, I don't taste the habanero at all. I don't taste the mango either.
Oh, this is easy. Easy like Sunday morning.
Yeah, it's not spicy.
I'm waiting for like the creep in the back.
No, there's no creep.
I gotta try this one more time. Anyway, they're based out of Heath,
I'm a
Ohio.
little disappointed.
And that's where we got Oliver Dog. Our rescue dog, he came straight out of the Licking County Humane Society in Heath, Ohio. The pound, if you will. Oh, there's a little warmth at the end for me. Dan's got a better palate for that than I do. So, yeah, you made chili this weekend too, didn't you?
Yeah, man, I whipped up a batch of deer chili on Saturday.
Deer meat.
Deer meat, man, it's freaking
I'm
awesome.
not a deer meat person, I don't think.
It's
I don't
awesome.
think.
Yeah, my son took all of the leftovers home.
Yeah, he loved it.
Yeah.
I saw you. Dan sent me a picture. There was some big like peppers in it, like.
Hot peppers.
But who's eating those? They
I
were
leave
cut
them
up. They were
big.
yeah.
I leave the hot peppers big in case people don't want the hot peppers. But it had red peppers, green bell peppers in there, Tex-Mex seasoning, made it thick, onions, black beans, and those big ass red hot peppers.
Nice.
Well, they weren't red hot, but they were hot peppers.
What about toppings? Cheese.
Sour cream and cheese, absolutely.
What about
I
tortilla
usually make
chips?
cornbread, but I had
Cornbread?
tortilla. We had El Fugan one night last week, so I had a bag of leftover tortilla chips, and I was like, I ain't making a cornbread. I'm just using those.
My chili is like this reddish color, but my kids, between the cheese and the amount of sour cream they put in it, I don't know. It like completely changes colors, whatever
yeah.
they do to it. But that's the way they like it. So,
You gotta add some cheese and sour cream.
that was our weekend. Dan, you you sent me other pictures. St. Mary. You went to the.
Oh yeah, I went down. I hadn't been to a game. I got a nephew that's a junior on the team, so it was their last home game, and went down. My parents, they're diehards. They're down there. They have their tailgate spot, so that's
Like reserved every week.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
their
they're
spot.
there.
Like nobody
They're-
fucks with the spot.
No.
Like it's there. Like Papa,
there.
Mama, Papa stays
Yep.
spot.
That's their spot, and my mom makes Jello shots, and everybody knows where to come and get Jello shots.
Oh, Jello shots.
Yeah.
Yikes. The go-getters. I like it. I like it.
So they beat an undefeated team. We're looking good for the playoffs, hosting a home game.
Are the playoffs start this week or
Well,
next
no,
week?
we're last week of this regular season.
While we're talking
coming
about
up.
St. V, I had a question. You Dan coached at St. V, but
Yeah.
you coached while LeBron was playing football as well. Is that correct?
Yeah. When he came in as a freshman, I was the head freshman coach, and then I got moved up to varsity. So I had him. I was the receivers coach. So I had him the next 2 years. He played football.
All right. Obviously, he's probably the best basketball player the planet has seen. But I have a question for you.
Yeah.
You know how you watch football and like you'll see like speed jump off the screen, and you're like, holy shit, that guy's fast. You know, you can just see it, right? Like his athleticism at that level. Like, I mean, was he like could you just see it? Like he was the best athlete on the field, or no?
There's speed and there's length too. So he could go 10 yards in 3 strides.
Yeah.
So when he went vertical and then cut to the middle on an in route or a dig route or something, there was nobody that could cover him.
Yeah.
There's nobody. I mean, because you're worried about the vertical threat. Everybody sees him go vertical, and when he would cut in, he was wide open all the time.
Yeah.
All the time.
Yeah.
And people would change their defense to cover him, double cover him, move more people, and then we were able to run the ball. I mean, it was easy. I shouldn't say easy, but
It was easy to scheme him. You didn't have to really scheme him.
well,
up
and the kids were smart enough that they could read the defense too and see, and they had hand signals and stuff, and they would change the play at the line of scrimmage based on what the defense was doing. Because I mean, if you had him one-on-one, if you were not that smart and covered him one-on-one, he could just run and we'll throw it up.
Forget it. Yeah, forget it.
But I'll tell you, the one thing, he was a hell of a blocker too.
Yeah, he did his part, yeah.
Shoot, man. I'll never forget this. We were playing a local team at Ravenna Stadium in the playoffs, and it was a boot pass, and the two receivers were coming across, and the quarterback dropped the ball to tuck it and run. And both the receivers, LeBron and Tommy, turned around and lit up the two dudes that were covering him. So it was decleat on both of them.
What did he do? Play 2 years? I mean, obviously, it's like, wait.
Played his freshman year. He dabbled a little bit on the varsity his freshman year, and then 2 years on varsity.
He played through his junior year?
Played through his junior year, yeah.
And then somebody had to get in his ear and say, yo, dude, you're going to be a multimillionaire
soon. It was unfortunate that someone got in his ear because he was a football player.
Dan wanted him on the football team.
There's a picture hanging up in the house of me and him after a playoff game, and literally his shoulder pads start where my shoulder is.
Yeah.
I mean, when he had his full gear on, look out. I mean, he was a
big dude. Big dude.
In high school, he was big.
Well, that's awesome. That's just a freaking cool thing to even be able to tell. You'll tell that story forever, you know.
That's my claim to fame, man.
Claim to fame. What about On Top the Cage?
That's second.
Second.
We haven't won an Emmy yet. If we get an Emmy for a YouTube Emmy,
right? I don't know what's happening. I don't know. Nobody's called. Nobody's sent me an email about that. So
we need Mark the Mechanic on.
Yeah. Speaking of that, people not watching the show, like my kids, Connor. I'm like, Connor, hey, I specifically mentioned you on the show. You know, beer review. The whole reason why the beer review. Did you watch the show? I talked to him Thursday when he's here, right, for the football. No, I didn't watch it. Friday, I'm like, Connor, did you watch the show while we're golfing? No, I didn't watch it. Sunday, he's back here, you know, hanging out before he goes back to Columbus to go back to school. You watch it? No, I didn't watch it. Keaton, you watch the show? And he's like, here's what Keaton says. He goes, no. He goes, no. And then he goes, wait. He goes, wait. I'm like, what? He goes, I watched a little bit of it. I'm like, what do you mean? And here's what happened. I get a text from Keaton. I want to say it's Thursday afternoon or Thursday morning, maybe Friday morning. I think it was Friday morning. And he's in school, right? And
not Friday. They didn't have school.
Oh, must have been Thursday. Must have been Thursday morning then. And he's like, Dad, what are the lines? I'm like, I don't know. I don't have the board with me. I'm like, I can screenshot you a picture of a betting website and tell you the lines. I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, and then the next text I get from him, he goes, my teacher has your podcast up on the screen right now. And I'm looking at my phone.
Nice.
I'm like, wait, what? I go, what? I'm like, I don't need children's services knocking at my door and shit. I'm like, what? Wait, what's going on? It turns out his buddy Davis Stanley. I don't know if you know the Stanley family or not. But anyway, his buddy Davis Stanley loves the show. And they were going to pick the games or whatever. And then I think their teacher, like, what the hell are you guys doing screwing around? And Davis put it up on her laptop or whatever the situation is.
Oh, my God, with us throwing F-bombs and stuff in the middle of school. Look
right.
out.
Davis loves the show. I do appreciate him.
We're going to get a call from the principal.
I know. Cindy Brown, I know her well. Cindy, I'm sorry if things are going haywire over there. So, I don't know. Maybe we'll get Davis here in the middle. You never miss. You haven't missed a show. No, neither of us have missed a show.
No.
I'm missing shows. COVID, nothing, right? No. Anyway, maybe we'll get him in the middle, but he's got to do the beer review.
Is it a kid?
Yeah, he's Keaton's age.
Shit.
Oh, shit. We'll get him one of those good Imperial Stout ones. Those like 12%ers. Matt, we'll shove him in an Uber after the show if he wants to be on. Send him back home. So, anyway, that's
probably happening.
That's a pretty long intro. I guess we got to talk about last week. Let's talk about last week. Dan and I both went 6-8. Teddy, our guest picker last week, did very well. Went 8-6. Right.
Good job, Teddy.
As his father Tom would say.
Freaking Atlanta. He picked Atlanta, didn't he? So that's one of his
He did. So did I, actually.
Did you really?
Blind squirrel will find a nut every once in a while, I guess, is under that category, as his father would probably say. Anyway, Dan on the year is 42-50-2. I'm 44-48-2. I fully plan on squaring that record here this week. I got to go +4 this week. We all lost our elephant picks, though.
Frickin' Chicago.
Right. Teddy was on your Browns, and you fucking jinxed my football team. I picked the Bears as well. And then Dan, I put this squarely at your feet, the Bears losing that game. You jinx elephant pick. The Bears, they had to lose since Dan picked them. Dan.
Yeah, because if you were watching, you saw me out there playing.
Dan's 0-6.
I was a fat white guy holding my arm.
0-6, Dan.
Hey, whatever. At least I got the streak going.
I'm 4-2. I can no longer talk about the Browns' loss in Week 2 against the Jets, where I lost my Briggs Elephant pick. I can't talk about that anymore though because I got another loss. Although the Bears dominated the game, and we'll talk about them when they come on the board, I suppose. But this shit's not easy. I mean, Dan, I challenge you to name more than three teams that are good. I mean, Buffalo, Kansas City, and Philadelphia are good. Name me another football team.
They're all
that is better than mediocre.
Everybody's mediocre this year.
That makes it so difficult. I mean, I think the biggest number on the board last week was probably Tampa.
How about the Jets?
They're great.
How about the Giants?
The New York football teams are certainly the storyline of the National Football League right now. It's amazing.
Green Bay sucking ass.
Oh, dude, fuck them.
They're terrible.
Fuck them.
I don't know. There's too many sports shows that talk too much. Blah, 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 bullshit. I mean, Green Bay's defense was supposed to be awesome. They blow.
There's quite a few of those defenses that played really well last year.
Our defense blows.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, they're probably number one on the list in regards to underperforming defenses.
Yeah.
College football game. Now, we all hit our college football pick. Dan, Ted, and myself were all on Tennessee. What a whale of a football game that was.
That was the best game of the weekend, man. I'll tell you what, that was
the best college football game in a very long time. I mean, as long as you don't like defensive slobber knockers. I mean, there was a lot of scoring.
Like a Big 12 game.
52-49. It was unbelievable. The scene at Neyland Stadium afterwards, they took the goalpost and took it to the local bar and then eventually dumped it in the river.
Yeah.
Oh, and there was a lot going on there, but it was awesome.
Dave that I work with had some buddies in town and they were golfing at Firestone. And one of the guys had a child, I don't remember, that graduated, and then another child that's still at Tennessee. And so they were at the game sending pictures.
Oh, that's awesome.
And they were sending Dad pictures of them on the field and shit. And I was like, yeah, that's cool. That was awesome.
Yeah, they rushed the field. I saw a stat today, or not stat, I guess I call it a stat, but it was Alabama, when they've lost on the road, the last time that the opposing team's fans have not rushed the field after Alabama loses in their home state is 2012.
Really?
2012.
Who was that?
I don't know. I didn't see that part. But it's been a decade since.
Or somebody.
I mean, that's how good they are. They beat either number 1 or number 2 Alabama, at home or whatever. Last time someone has not rushed the field, the fans have not rushed the field after the game, is a full decade ago, which is just craziness. So, I don't know. That was a pretty long intro. We ready to go for games?
Yeah, let's go.
You don't got any?
Start with this shitty one here.
Wait, you don't got any notes or anything?
I didn't bring any notes this week.
We're first on the show.
Too busy working this week. No one's pissed me off that I needed to write notes.
We had a first on the show last week. Dan brought out this little crumpled up loose leaf piece of paper. He had some shit he wanted to get off his chest.
Yeah. No, I got nothing.
Nothing this week?
Nothing other than shitty. Well, hey, NFL officiating sucks across the board.
Oof. Yeah.
It's bad. Every game, it seems like there's a crazy freaking call.
Yeah, and some of them affect the outcome, which is really scary. There's only
land on a
17
quarterback.
games.
It's insane.
And the NFL came out.
Interference is freaking crazy still. I mean, what was it? The Monday night game I got to see Denver. There were so many the first part of that game was nothing but penalties, and some of them I'm like, that's not pass interference.
Yeah,
and then blatant pass interference, they're not calling.
There were some missed calls in that game, and Dan referenced the roughing the passer. The NFL basically came out and said, it's a quarterback's league. We're going to protect our quarterbacks. This shit's not going to change. I mean, and we talked about those roughing calls 2 weeks ago. Yeah, and they were terrible. So, but meanwhile, it's an offensive league, and the National Football League is going to protect the quarterbacks. We're just going to have to deal with it as fans, I guess. But we are on to Thursday Night Football. It's the New Orleans Saints traveling to Arizona. Both these teams are 2-4. Arizona 1.5-point favorite in the game. New Orleans, they come off of their loss at home against Cincinnati. Speaking of underperforming defenses, that's one of them. And they're banged up, too.
Who's? Cincinnati
New Orleans. New Orleans defense has not.
The whole team's banged up, and their coach, I'm not.
Dennis Allen?
Yeah.
Their defense was good last year, and it's not shown well this year so far. Over under this game is 45. I don't think I mentioned it. How about the Arizona Cardinals? I got a stat for you. The Arizona Cardinals have lost their last 8 home games, dating back to this time last year. They've struggled at State Farm Stadium, which is what it's called out there in Phoenix or Scottsdale or wherever the hell that is. Where is it at? I don't know. Doesn't really matter. They lost on the road at Seattle last week, and they didn't put up many points against a pretty bad defense in Seattle. The good news is they get D-Hop back this week.
Well, yeah. And honestly, that's the only reason I'm going to take them. It's the line's 1.5.
It's
They're
short.
at home, and he's coming back.
They
New Orleans just blows to me.
And they're hurt, and who's playing quarterback? I think it's
I
still
don't know.
Dalton. I don't know when Jameis is going to come back or how much of a difference it's going to make. Arizona Cardinals traded for Robbie Anderson. You see that shit with Robbie Anderson where he got thrown off his own team, basically? Carolina. Did you see that this week?
Well, I mean, he was shit talking earlier in the off season
About Baker?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, Marquise Brown went down with an injury. We'll see how long he's going to be out. They signed Robbie Anderson. They get DeAndre Hopkins back off his 6-game PED suspension. We'll see if it sparks some. Daniel on Arizona -1.5.
I'm on Arizona on this one.
I'm going with him. I'm riding with him. They got to break this streak at some point in time, right? I like the idea of Diop coming back and sparking them. I don't like the injuries on New Orleans' team. Lattimore being out, quite a few people being out. So Dan and I are both on Arizona. The Sunday early games start with the Cleveland Browns traveling in Division 2. A big rival, bitter rival in the Baltimore Ravens.
Freaking Ratbird.
The Ratbirds. Cleveland's 2-4. Baltimore's 3-3. Baltimore 6.5-point favorites in this game. Over under 46.5. Dan, I'll let you talk about your team, but all I gotta say is, what the fuck with the defense?
The defense. I've been railing on the defense all year long. I mean, all of a sudden, locally, they want to shift the blame on offense and Jacoby Brissett. Well, Jacoby's a backup, and he's played lights out up until last week. Okay, so I give him a pass because
It's the defense.
it is the defense. We should have been undefeated and lost to the Patriots.
How many points did they give up the Patriots?
I didn't even.
30-8.
We turned the channel off. I mean, it was so freaking bad. Me and my 2 kids are sitting in the garage drinking, but turn it off. I mean, we couldn't wait to change the channel, and the Rams and Panthers are on. But the Browns were off. Their defense, they got some issues on defense, and they blow.
Dan sent me a text like late, probably towards the latter part. He was like, "Fuck the Browns, I'm blowing leaves" or something like
No,
that.
I started the day, went to church, got home, ate something.
Prayed for the Browns.
And
Didn't
yes,
work.
they did. Was mad that Mass was inside, not outside.
Woo.
I was dressed for outside, and they had it inside, but there were like 4 baptisms.
You didn't have your dog with you, did you?
No, I didn't take him. But got home, ate, went out and blew leaves because I'd have been really pissed had I not done anything.
Nothing
on
accomplished,
Sunday.
right?
Didn't do, yeah. And I had a ton of leaves. So I put my earbuds in and was blowing leaves. And my goal, I told my daughter, she was bummed because I wasn't watching the game. I said, I'll be done before halftime. And that was my goal. And I made it. And then went and showered and came out to watch the second half. But at least I was drinking and accomplished something because they sucked ass.
The kids drinking off that kegerator?
Yeah, they like that. They like the sour beer, the platform
shit.
Pink Martian.
I have one. I have a treat for you, coming up with a beer, but it hasn't come up yet. It's a themey beer, but it's a sour. I'm waiting to break it out. But
Nice.
that comes for a later show. A little bit off track. Baltimore, once again, -6.5 in this game. They're a tough team to figure out. They keep on blowing fourth quarter leads. They did it again last week where they had a pretty decent lead in New York against the Giants. I mean,
They do the same thing we do. So what's going to be the end result? Now, I saw Mudbutt is hurt.
he'll play.
Got
I
a hip
think.
injury or something.
And Mark Andrews,
Elbow injury hurt earlier. Mark Andrews, I hope that
he didn't
doesn't
practice
play.
today, but I mean, I can't believe these guys aren't going to play. I mean, this is a big division game. And Dan, look, as shitty as your team played, and they're 2-4, the leader of the division is Baltimore and Cincinnati at 3-3. I mean,
Right, we're 1 game back.
they're ahead of Baltimore if they win this game
Yeah, I know.
because they have the tiebreaker.
I know.
I mean, whether they can win it is another thing. But I mean, Baltimore's not been a terribly impressive team either. Baltimore minus 6.5. Are they gonna beat the Browns by a touchdown?
No, they're not going to beat the Browns. So I got to go with Cleveland on this.
What do you know about?
They're not going to beat the Browns by 6.5.
No.
No way.
I think things have imploded in Cleveland. I mean, that defense. I mean, they gave up 38 points to a really, really shitty offense in New England.
I agree, but that ain't happening.
Well, let me ask you. So I didn't watch any of that game. Was there a lot of turnovers by the offense, giving them short
4
fields where they
turnovers.
scored? I mean, or did they
4
drive,
turnovers.
or did they just drive down the field like every time they had the ball?
No, there were 4 turnovers. There was a big play. The defensive backs give up big plays. No,
I really want to take the Browns, and I know it's a bitter division game, and there's a ton to play for here. With that defense, I can't do it. I'm gonna lay the 6.5 with Baltimore. I mean, normally if that defense was just playing like half-ass and not completely like shit.
Baltimore's defense is playing the same way, half-ass. So
Well, they did it. Well, here's the deal.
Ratbirds,
And here's my thought process in regards to spending a lot of time on this game.
I don't need a thought process.
Baltimore played the Giants last week, and they corralled Barkley pretty well, Saquon Barkley. Are they going to be able to corral Chubb, Hunt?
No.
No?
No.
Browns are going to come out and play better, certainly. I need to see a better defensive effort. I'm going to lay Baltimore minus 6.5 in this game. Next game on the board, Tampa Bay and Carolina. Tampa Bay 3-3, Carolina 1-5. Tampa Bay's a 10.5-point favorite in this game. Once again, like they were last week in Pittsburgh and lost. Over-under this game is not very much, 40.5. So, Carolina can't fucking score, but Tampa Bay, I mean, they got problems on the offensive line. They lost in Pittsburgh last week as roughly 10-point favorites. They have serious offensive line problems. Tom Brady isn't going anywhere. He's
Pittsburgh has
45.
serious offensive line problems, too. They lost their quarterback.
They did. Trubisky came in and played better, if you ask me.
Well, not surprising.
They're on the board
Carolina,
later.
I mean, is Baker is he playing, or is that? And I thought that kid started off pretty good against the Rams.
PJ Walker,
Yeah.
they did. Carolina got a good start out in L.A. They did lose that game out in L.A. against the Rams. I mean, they got internal problems. I mean, Robbie Anderson got kicked off his own team like during the middle of the game for Carolina, so they got internal problems there. I mean, the trade deadline comes up on November 1. Is there going to be a fire sale in Carolina? I mean, it's just a mess. Is McCaffrey going to get dealt? Or some of their other better players, DJ Moore, going to get dealt? I don't think they're going to deal any of their young defensive players, but they got to leave something in the cupboard for the new coach next year. 10.5, Tampa. Big number that they faltered at last week on the road.
I got to take Tampa on this one.
Me too. They got to fix the ship
Carolina,
sometime.
Yeah. I mean, you got Tom Brady playing a team with no quarterback and no offense.
Tom Brady.
But he's pissed.
Okay. Piss doesn't turn the results.
No.
Dude, break all the fucking Microsoft Surface Pros you want to, bro. That doesn't change shit.
They're not going to. It's Carolina, though.
I know. That's the only reason. If this was anywhere close, I mean, almost any other team in the league besides Carolina, I wouldn't go this way. But I'm going to lay it as well with Dan minus 10.5. I don't like it. I don't. But Carolina's so bad. Next game on the board, the Atlanta Falcons travel to Cincinnati to play the Cincinnati Bengals. Both these teams are 3-3. Cincinnati is a 6-point favorite in this game. The over-under is 47.5. Atlanta, they are tied for the division lead right now.
They're playing
with Tampa.
I'm shocked. And it's crazy. I mean, 3-3, 3-3. It's a toss-up.
Atlanta came off a big win at home against San Francisco, where
huge.
Yeah, I mean, San Francisco has been displaced for a while. They've been on the road for a while. They didn't go home, and we talked about that a little bit about last week.
We all thought San Francisco was going to dismantle.
They're an elite defensive team. They're injured. But I mean, people are having a really difficult time trying to solve the Atlanta rushing attack led by Mariota. And I say led by Mariota because he runs the ball too. But they haven't had Cordarrelle Patterson there, who ran the ball primarily. But between Algier and Huntley, they don't throw the ball a whole lot. But I don't know if Art Smith or whoever the offensive coordinator is in Atlanta has some like scheme that people can't seem to figure out. But they've had a tremendous rushing attack the entire year. Cincinnati, their offense came alive in New Orleans finally in the second half. Jamar Chase got more involved. I expect a lot of this team going forward. I mean, they haven't played that well. I mean, maybe the switch got flipped last week because they did play a lot better offensively. The defense was okay. -6 Cincinnati at home in the jungle.
I'm taking Cincinnati. Atlanta can't come to Ohio twice and win in the same month.
I like the reasoning.
There ain't no way.
Welcome to the jungle. I think I'm going that way too. I think a lot of this Atlanta football team, but I think that maybe something happened in the second half in New Orleans last week for Cincinnati, and they're going to turn this thing on and kind of turn to that team that they were the second half of the season last year, where they made that entire run to the Super Bowl as the AFC representative. I don't like it. It scares me. I mean, I tell you what, last week was a big week for Vegas again because people like to bet the favorites. And there were a lot of dogs that were winners last week again. I mean, this stuff's tough. I don't like it, but welcome to the jungle for me as well. -6 with Cincinnati. Dan and I are in agreement, is what I was trying to say there. Didn't come out quite well. All right, next game on the board. Detroit goes to Dallas to play the Cowboys. Detroit is 1-4. Dallas is 4-2. Dallas full touchdown favorite, -7. Over/under is 48. Detroit comes in well rested off bye. Obviously, they didn't play last week. There's not a lot to talk about that game. I mean, did they find a fucking defense on bye? I don't know. But they better because the Cowboys can play offense.
Yeah. I don't know. Do you think this is one of those games? Because I already saw Big Jer came out and said, no, I don't think Dak's ready to play yet.
He's playing. I think Dak's playing this
he
week.
is?
I'd be shocked if he doesn't play this week. He says he's playing, and whether or not, they could do that. Dallas comes off their loss in Philadelphia. It was one of those night games. What, Sunday night? Maybe? Sunday night. Yeah, it was Sunday night. They were down early. They got back in the game. They were close in the fourth quarter. They couldn't find a way to do it. Philadelphia's a pretty good quality team. Dallas -7 in this game. I'll take the lead. I've made Dan go the whole time. I'm laying
This
another
game
big
should be on
favorite.
Thanksgiving. Why are we seeing it now?
Yeah.
I think I'm going to have to cook turkey
What does
on
that
Sunday.
mean?
Cook a turkey?
Oh, for this game. Oh, I thought you were picking the game and making some reference about cooking a turkey. You're right. Detroit has played. Well, no, it can't be on Thanksgiving because both Detroit and Dallas host Thanksgiving games.
I know, but can't we put the two shitty teams
Oh, shit, right. Dallas
together?
got a shitty team. Their defense
Put
is
those
really
two
good.
together on Thanksgiving, and then we could have two real games.
I'm just happy the Bears don't play on Thanksgiving because I don't get to see my family that much.
Do we know the Thanksgiving games? I'm
Yeah, we
jumping
do.
ahead.
We do. 100% do. But the Bears don't play on Thanksgiving, which I'm thankful
Do the
for.
Browns?
They do a lot. Not that I'm aware, but there's 3 Thanksgiving games. I mean, you have those traditional.
That's what I'm saying.
Like, it's like a noon start and like a 4 o'clock start, but then you have a night game, and usually, I mean, the noon and 4 o'clock games kind of suck, if you will, or at least they're not marquee matchups. But the 8:30 game or whatever it is usually tits. So, usually tits. Anyway, Dallas -7. I'm going to take the lead. I'm going to lay it again, and that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games in a row I've laid the points. I don't know. I'm nervous for myself. I'm laying the full touchdown in the Dallas Cowboys.
Really?
It's the defense and it's the fact that Dak's coming back. Well, first of all, Dallas is a very good defense. Detroit's
They do have a
defense is
good
awful.
defense. They're a little banged up, though. Micah Parsons,
Is he? Yeah, I saw him like
groin injury.
Yeah, I saw him grabbing his junk.
but he still plays. I mean,
Oh, he's a
unlike
great player.
somebody
Jesus.
I know for the Browns,
Who's that?
you know,
Clowney? Joker?
well, it's either him and his buddy.
Duh. I don't know who his buddy is, but whatever.
Garrett, I mean,
Myles Garrett.
We got to hang now. Look out, I'm not playing.
Haircut out 2 to 4 weeks.
Yeah. Man, I don't know.
Dallas -7, Dan.
Shit, I almost want to go with Detroit because I think Detroit wins this game just because Detroit, it's the way the season's going.
You think they win the game? Or you mean they get on the number?
No, they win it.
Dan says play the money line with the Lions. Holy shit, that's got to pay well.
Just because the way this season is gone.
They're 7-point dogs, and you think they're
And
going to win the game
Dallas
out?
will
It should be
need
your
some
own victory.
controversy if Dak plays and they lose to Detroit. Can you imagine the shit?
Oh, the Cooper Rush stuff? Like
Yeah.
the call for Cooper? I don't
Can
think.
you imagine that?
I don't think it's gonna happen. Well, let's see. I think Dak will play just fine. I don't know. We'll see if there's any
I don't
controversy
know. Okay,
there. I
this
don't
is
buy
a
that.
betting show. I got to go with Dallas.
Oh
But
Jesus!
I wouldn't be
You went
surprised.
you went from Detroit winning the game outright to like I'm gonna lay Dallas -7.
No, I'm taking Detroit. Fuck it.
I don't know what's going on all of a sudden.
Detroit.
All right, I hope I didn't talk you out of something. Next game on the board, I think it's kind of a sneaky, fun game, a good game if
This
you will.
is crazy.
The Giants in Jacksonville. The New York Giants, who are 5-1, talk of the town, along with the New York Jets in New York, obviously. Going down to Jacksonville. Jacksonville's 2-4 on the season. Jacksonville's a 3-point favorite, even though they're 2-4, and the Giants are 5-1. The over/under is 43. The Giants come off their home win against Baltimore, where their defense came up huge late. Stop Lamar Jackson, and Brian Daboll's completely changed the culture.
Totally.
For the Giants.
And they're rolling right now. I mean, they're buying in and rolling.
I mean, everybody said they didn't have any good wins. They beat back-to-back weeks. They beat the Packers and they beat the Ravens
The Packers in England.
in England, and the Ravens at home. So those are two quality wins. I don't know. They're not flashy by any means. I mean,
they're
they
not
run the ball with
flashy.
Saquon a lot.
They win and they play, even though they're losing.
They don't have any of their
still-
wide receivers.
I know they don't have
They're all-
any.
I know. Galladay's hurt. Kadarius Toney's hurt. Slayton's
Sterling,
hurt.
or not Sterling, but
We
what
have
am I
a
thinking of? Shepard? What?
Sterling Shepard, maybe. And there's
Yeah,
a-
is it Sterling Shepard?
I think so. I'm not sure about
I was
that.
thinking of Sterling Sharp, but it is Sterling Shepard.
Certainly not him. He's like 60.
Yeah.
They have a rookie named Wandale Robinson who's kind of exciting that plays in the slot some for them. But yeah, they're banged up at the receiver position, Jacksonville. Let's talk about this team. This is a talented football team. They lost in Indianapolis. They blew a big lead. They blew like a 14-3 lead in Indianapolis. They're a talented football team that doesn't seem to quite know how to win or finish or however you want to say it. I like watching this team. Travis Etienne has been a lot more involved the last couple of weeks. He's fun to watch. I mean, they get him the ball on in space, and he's quite the playmaker. Jacksonville -3 against the Giants. What's going to happen here, Dan?
I got to go with the Giants. I can't pick Jacksonville yet.
I am. I'm picking Jacksonville again. That would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm sure I'm going to pay for this. Favorites in a row. I'm laying Jacksonville -3. Dan, how many games we got different? We picked Arizona together. You picked Cleveland. Got one. Then we both picked Tampa. We both picked Cincinnati. We both ended up picking Dallas after I swayed you.
No, I'm on Detroit.
Oh, Detroit.
Fuck
Okay. All right. Very good. All right. Next game on the board is an important game in this AFC South. We just talked about Jacksonville. Indianapolis travels to Tennessee, and this is a rematch again. This game was played just in week 4, so 3 weeks later we're playing the exact same game. There you go. I mean, I didn't taste much of that habanero. I have a sensitive palate when it comes to that shit. I'll get hiccups or something like that, but there's very little. There's very little, right?
No.
All right. Indianapolis. Go ahead. I'm sorry. What'd you say?
None.
No, oh, the habanero.
Did I slam that too hard?
No, you're good. Indianapolis 3-2-1 on the year. Tennessee is 3-2. I think I wrote. They must be wrong. I don't know. I think I got something wrong.
3-2-1 versus 3-2.
Oh yeah, that's fine. There's bye weeks.
Yeah, they had a bye.
I thought I was wrong. I thought
Tennessee was off.
once again recap. Math is fucking hard and still remains hard. I thought I was wrong, but I forgot about the bye weeks last week, so I'm correct. Tennessee's a 3-point favorite in this game. Over/under is 42.5. Indianapolis. We just talked about it. They came off that comeback win at home against Jacksonville. You know how many times they threw the ball? 58. 58 times they threw the ball.
Indy did?
Yes. I mean, their running backs are hurt. They were without Jonathan Taylor. I think they were without Himes as well. They did third-string running back, but still.
Is he still hurt? Taylor?
I think Taylor's coming back this week. That's going to be a big boost for them. They say he's playing this week, or at least that's what all the reports are.
Yeah, I'm going with Tennessee.
I don't blame you. I mean, this is a dogfight to the finish here. Tennessee, they were on bye last week. They're well rested. Dan and I both like Mike Vrabel. They won the first time in week 4. I think they're going to do it again. I like the week of rest. I like Derrick Henry's week of rest, who gets battered every week. I mean, the whole key of Tennessee is if Derrick Henry has success, the team has success, and then play action happens, and it's good. That would be my 7th favorite in a row. I got to pick a dog here at some point in time. Next game on the board, Dan's already committed. We're both on Tennessee, correct? Yep. All right, very good, sir. Next game on the board, the Green Bay Packers travel to the nation's capital to play the Washington Commanders. Green Bay is a 5.5-point favorite in this game. The over/under is 41. Green Bay is 3-3 on the year. The Washington Commanders are 2-4. Green Bay, they come off their loss home against the Jets, where they got beat pretty damn good. They got beat start to finish by the New York Jets football team. They are coming up on the board next. I can't wait to talk about them.
How about Sauce Gardner walking off the field with a cheese head?
Hell yeah. Dan loves Sauce.
Freaking awesome. That dude's a badass from Cincinnati, man. I like how he plays.
He talks, but he walks the walk as well,
Hell yeah,
I would say.
he does.
Yeah, he's a very confident kid. I mean, their draft class has really shown between Gardner and Breece Hall, the running back, who's kind of coming into his own. This is back-to-back losses for the Green Bay Packers against New York teams. And here's the fun thing. I 100% put it on the board, and I'm going to mention it because I fucking hate the Packers. So the Packers played in London. They played overseas, right? And when you play overseas, you get the option of telling the NFL when they're making the schedule that you want to buy, if you want. They said, no, we'll take the Jets. The Jets shoved it up their ass in Lambeau.
Really?
100%. They said, no, we'll play the game if it's the Jets. That's what they said. And the Jets went in there. I mean, they won that game from start to finish. I mean, they dominated the game, to tell you the truth.
I wish we could have seen that game. That would have been a great
I did.
game.
I watched it. I mean,
that should have been, everybody gets to see it, not somebody that pays for DirecTV or bullshit.
it wasn't really close, Dan.
But that's a game that everybody would have enjoyed watching.
The Jets,
Because-
they're next. I can't wait to talk about them. I'll wait.
Okay, we got to see the Bears and who play on Thursday.
Stop putting the Chicago Bears and
We
stop
got to
putting the
see
Denver Broncos in prime time.
Who was the Sunday night game that last Sunday?
Philly and Dallas. You hate seeing Dallas, but that was a good game.
Dallas.
That was a good game.
Yeah.
But
I
literally,
can't complain
stop
about
putting.
that.
I mean, the network has a problem, the network has a problem with primetime games with Denver because Denver's a horrible football team right now, and they thought they were going to be great, and Russell Wilson, this and that, and the Bears end up on primetime at least 3 times. This they play on Monday night. This is the last primetime game, thank God, because nobody wants to watch the Bears besides myself and the Chicago football fans. But anyway,
I just want to watch a good football game.
speaking of them, we'll recap this. Green Bay's minus 5.5 against Washington. Washington does come off their win on Thursday night, so they're a bit well rested against Chicago, where they didn't show very well.
What was the final? 12-9?
12 to 7. Yeah, we'll talk about the Bears and how they blew that game. Washington did nothing. Carson Wentz got hurt. Taylor Heineke's the new quarterback
starting.
there.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe he sparks this team. He's a lot more athletic than Wentz is. I'm going to take the lead, and I'm going to take the points for the very first time on the board this week. I'm going to take the Washington Commanders getting 5.5 in Green Bay. Green Bay, show me. Your defense hasn't shown shit this year. There's problems. I mean, Aaron Rodgers has a thumb issue, but I'm sure he's going to play. I think I've seen Taylor Heineke play, and he's super athletic. He has a rocket for an arm. I'm not so sure he shouldn't have been a starting quarterback from the gate.
I agree with that.
I'm taking the points with the Washington Commanders.
I'm going with the Packers on this one.
Why?
Because Washington blows.
That's legit. It's fair. I like the spark from Taylor Heineke. I'm taking the points. The next game on the board I've been itching to talk about. Then the New York Jets travel out to Denver. Denver's a 3.5-point favorite in this game. Over-under is 42.5. Jets are 4-2 on the year. They come off of their impressive win against Green Bay. We just talked about it. I mean,
Is this still a 1 o'clock game?
No, I'm sorry. Thank you, Dan. It is the start of the late window on Sunday, the 4 p.m. slate. Why, you think you got a chance to watch it?
I'm hoping.
Maybe because it's fucking Denver. I don't know. In New York, I don't know. All of a sudden, I mean, people want to see the Jets. They want to see what this is all about, who haven't seen it, who don't have the Sunday ticket, who watch their local teams. They're like, is this Jets team really good? I kind of want to put my own 2 eyeballs on it. I don't blame them. They're a fun team to watch. Dare I say, a playoff contender.
You have to say it.
I agree. I mean, Zach Wilson hasn't played that well, but the rest of the team's playing really well.
Yeah.
The defense has
They
played
can
a
run
lot
the
better.
ball. They can throw the
They
ball.
can run the ball.
They have a good defense. Their special teams don't screw it up. Denver, they're a freaking train wreck. They suck.
They're horrible. They come off their loss
Russell
against
Wilson. I don't know, mate. Pete Carroll. I mean, have we not given Pete Carroll enough credit for what he did in Seattle with Russell Wilson?
I don't know, but I don't like giving Pete Carroll credit. But
I don't either, just because of his USC background.
But
still, I mean,
he looks lost. But hold on, is it Pete Carroll
bad.
or is it Nathaniel Hackett? And that shitty offense he puts out there. But I mean, Russ is missing throws. He doesn't look good. I mean, he's got a hamstring injury. I don't even know if he's playing in this game, and his line will probably go down until they figure that out. The early line on the game was Denver -3.5. I'm not buying it. I'm taking the resurgent Jets for sure in this game.
I got to take the Jets too on this.
Yeah, I mean, this Nathaniel Hackett being some offensive guru obviously hasn't went well there. Denver is the lowest scoring offense in the national.
He's a guru because he coached Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, and
look at how Aaron Rodgers is doing without him.
Right. Well,
they both suck.
Maybe, and the Bears ended up with Green Bay's quarterbacks coach, Luke Getsy, as their offensive coordinator, and the Bears' offense has done nothing either. I was just going to say, Denver is the lowest scoring offense in the National Football League, averaging 15 points. And by the way, the National Football League includes the Chicago Bears. So they've scored more points than Denver has. I mean, that's a pretty staggering statistic if you ask me. I'm a buyer. I'm a believer in this Jet football team. I'm on the Jets getting the 3.5. I love the hook for sure.
Yeah, now I'm taking them.
And this line may change. It's early. We don't know if Russ is going to play. Dan and I are both on the Jets. No more calling in the paper airplanes at all.
No, you can't.
Jets, 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 Jets. Next game on the board. Two teams coming off by. The Houston Texans travel to Las Vegas to play the Raiders. The Raiders are a full touchdown favorite, 7 points, over under 45.5. Houston 1-3-1. Vegas 1-4, man. I mean, Houston, they need to score more. I mean, they struggle to score. There's not a whole lot to talk about that team. I want to talk about the Raiders. I mean, they're well rested, but they're in a tough division. I mean, they're in desperation mode right now.
Total desperation mode. Then they're going to have a guy that's going to be suspended.
Who?
Devontae Adams for the shove.
Nah. I don't know. We haven't seen yet. The NFL does have control.
Come on.
He may. Did you ever see it on Twitter? I feel like you said you didn't see it last week. I don't know.
See what? The shove?
The shove.
Oh, I saw it.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
You think he should be suspended?
Absolutely. He should be. Come on.
What, a game?
You had a bad game, so you're going to shove some dude just walking, trying to do his job? What if that guy would have shoved Devontae Adams because someone tipped over his camera? What would happen to that guy?
He probably got beat up.
Yeah. Well, see, bullshit. That fucker. He suspend him for 6 games.
6 games. That's too much. I mean,
you cannot. Seriously?
You got to control yourself better than Devontae Adams.
Seriously, you lost a freaking game. This is a game. You get paid millions of dollars for
livelihood.
Are you pissed because it's ridiculous to me? Because that guy makes a fraction of what he makes, and he's just walking by, and he got shoved. Screw that.
Then you say 6. What if you had to guess? And there was money on it. You had to guess how many. Do you think he's gonna get suspended, and how many games?
6 games.
At best, 1. I don't think he gets suspended at all. I don't think they suspend him.
It's a bad look. That is a bad look.
Maybe. Maybe Dan's right. I get it. There's 2 different sides to look at this thing. I don't think he gets suspended at all. Dan thinks 6. I think that's really heavy-handed. The Raiders have to win this game. Houston doesn't have much of an offense.
You get suspended more for smoking dope than you do for that? Seriously?
Wait, what? I don't understand the question.
If you smoke dope, you get suspended more from the league than shoving some freaking camera guy or sound guy.
How much do you get suspended for smoking weed?
How long did Josh Gordon get suspended?
Oh,
definitely.
Repeat offender, like habitual. He's like Snoop, though, dude. Not everybody's Snoop.
But that's what I'm saying.
That's not the same.
Okay.
Josh Gordon.
Who were we just talking about from Arizona coming back?
DeAndre Hopkins. It was
PED. 6 games.
I don't know. I understand both sides of the argument. I don't think it's going to happen. I'm on the Raiders -7 in this game.
I'm sure it's not going to happen because you know who else got to play all 6 games?
Dan.
Donaldson. And who's on a bye this week?
The Rams. Thank God. It's week 7, Dan. It's over.
He should have been out 7 friggin' weeks then. I don't know when the buys come out. His ass shouldn't have been playing.
Thank God the Rams are not on the board.
Bullshit.
So we don't have to talk
Hitting
about
people
that.
with a helmet gets you nothing.
I'm on the Raiders -7, Dan.
Okay, let me ask you this.
He's not ready to pick.
Aaron Donald got nothing for hitting somebody with a helmet in a practice, and
Practice.
what's his face is going to get suspended for shoving a cameraman.
Devontae?
Yeah.
Yeah, because the NFL has control of it. I can't control
It's the
that.
NFL. They have control of everything. Don't you
It's part of the contract.
Ah.
We talk. I know you don't like it. Dan doesn't like it. That the NFL only has control of game situations and
they have
not
control of
practice.
everything.
So, Vegas -7, Dan.
I'm on Vegas.
Me too. All right, Dan and I are both in agreement on Vegas. Next game on the board, Seattle Seahawks travel to play the Los Angeles Chargers down the coast, if you will. Chargers 6.5-point favorites in this game. Seattle 3-3. The Chargers are 4-2. Seattle comes off of their home win against Arizona, where their defense played a lot better. I mean, or maybe it's the Cardinals' offense sucking a little bit, but their defense seemed to play better. They got a new toy in Kenneth Walker, that running back out of Michigan State. You remember him, right, from
Yeah.
Big Ten football?
Yep.
He's kind of come into his own. Their other running back, Rashad Penny, got hurt. It's his job solely. Good for fantasy owners if they have them, for sure. But they're playing better. I mean, Geno continues to play okay. Like I said, the defense played better. The Chargers, they are winners of 3 straight, although they haven't looked very impressive
No. they
in
haven't
those
looked
3 wins. I
impressive
mean,
at all.
last week they weren't impressive against Denver. The previous week was Cleveland, wasn't it, Dan?
Yes, they ran the ball, but
Right, and they were lucky to get out of that
Yes.
and win. I mean, it's never easy to win on the road in the National Football League. I get that. I'm not convinced of Brandon Staley as a head coach.
I am not either.
Chargers -6.5 in this game against Seattle.
The Chargers might win, but I don't think it's going to be by 6.5.
I agree. Seattle defense played better last week. They're in this thing. And
Yeah,
maybe
Seattle-
Dan thinks Pete
Seattle's
Carroll's a good
impressed.
coach. I don't know where that came out. That came out of left field for me.
I don't like
He
Pete
hates
Carroll
Pete
at
Carroll.
all.
I know he hates Pete Carroll, and he gave him some credit in the show, which never happens. But they're in the thick of this thing at 3-3. I mean, they
They are.
believe. Geno's not young, but they got
I'll tell you what, Geno Smith is playing lights out.
he's playing
I
pretty
mean,
well. He really
I
is.
thought
I mean, lights out may be a little strong, but he's playing.
but
He's acquitting
compared
himself very
to-
well as a backup
yes,
quarterback.
I mean, come on. Nobody would have thought after his first couple years that he'd still be in the league, but he's playing really freaking good.
Right. I mean, the Charger offense was kind of like a juggernaut last year towards the end, and it's just a miss. I mean, there's something missing right now, and they haven't put it together
The
through
O-line sucks.
the first
They're
third of the
missing
season.
receivers.
Yeah,
Their
Keenan Allen's not
defense
going
is
to play again
hurt.
this week, I don't think. I like Seattle as well getting the points in this game. I think this game's going to be close at the end and tight. So Dan and I both like Seattle and the points in this game. Next game on the board, a really sneaky, fun game, I think. Not sneaky, it's a fucking fun game. The Kansas City Chiefs travel out to San Francisco. Chiefs are 4-2. San Francisco's 3-3. The Chiefs are a 3-point favorite on the road. The over/under in this game is 48.5. San Francisco, or the Chiefs, they're the road team. They come off their home loss against Buffalo, and it's a big loss
Big loss.
because I think Kansas City, Buffalo, Kansas City, and Philadelphia, I think for sure the 3 best teams in the National Football League. And now that Kansas City's lost the tiebreaker to Buffalo, I think the AFC Championship goes through Orchard Park in Buffalo.
Yeah.
And that's not going to be easy with those fans, those temperatures, for any team that goes in there. I mean, generally it's fucking crazy cold in Buffalo in January.
They're right on the corner of the Lake Erie.
Oh, windy, the whole 9 yards of it.
Snow.
They did lose that game. I mean, it wasn't the shootout that I kind of thought it was going to be. I want to say the game ended up
No,
24-20.
Yeah, I was kind of disappointed there in the first half. I was like, what's going on?
I didn't mind it, man. There was some defense played. Buffalo got the better end of it because I think they do have a better defense than Kansas City. San Francisco, they're banged up. They come off their loss in Atlanta. They've been on the road 2 weeks. They're really banged up on the defensive side of the ball. I feel like this is 2 years in a row for them. Was it them we were belaboring last year? Like they were. I remember at one point, I don't know if it was last year, not calling them like the 24.5s instead of the 49ers or something
Yeah.
like that because they only like half their damn football team. I mean, they're a good team. They are. I mean, maybe somewhat limited on offense with Garoppolo. I mean, they're a really good defensive team, but they're banged up. Kansas City -3 in this game. Yeah, they're that much better of a team to win this game on the road. I think it's the marquee game of the week, by the way.
See, Kansas City never covers. They never cover, but I think they win this game.
I think they win it by a good margin. I like them
do?
-3. I do. It's their offense. I mean, and San Francisco's beat up. I do. I like Kansas City a lot in this game.
I got to go with Kansas City, too.
All right, next game on the board, Sunday Night Football.
Holy
we are there.
smokes.
The Pittsburgh Steelers traveled down to play the Miami Dolphins. Pittsburgh's 2-4, Miami's 3-3. Miami is a full touchdown favorite, -7. Over-under is 44 in this game. Pittsburgh comes off of their win at home against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Kenny Pickett started the game. He got hurt, concussion protocol. I'm unsure if he's playing, but I think Trubisky is the better option for them. He played
Probably.
really well in relief. It's kind of weird, though, because when Kenny Pickett plays, he targets George Pickens, the rookie, because they had a lot of reps in
Right.
training camp. When Trubisky plays, he targets Claypool a ton. And Claypool caught 2 big balls, won the touchdown, and won the game to seal the game in the fourth quarter to get the first down. So Pittsburgh. Oh, by the way, I gotta say this. I know Dan's not a Twitter guy, not much of a social media guy, but Dan chews tobacco, and I do too every once in a great while, largely on the golf course. So Claypool made a couple big plays down the stretch, and do you know who Gunnar, like the Polish name, Olszewski, that white guy that punt returns and things like that? Anyway, he's a
For
Steeler.
Pittsburgh?
Yeah.
No, I don't know any of the Steelers.
He's like kind of a
players.
backup wide receiver. He's a punt returner. But anyway, so Gunnar gives Chase Claypool chewing tobacco the first time he's had dip in his life. And do you remember the first time you had dip in your
Yeah,
life?
he puked.
Yeah. So Claypool is giving an interview, and he starts talking to the person, and he's like, Gunnar. He's like, basically like, what did you do to me? And he's like, these lights are too bright. Like he was like
Nice.
he was dizzy, ready to fall over. I remember the first time in college when I had chewing tobacco, and I had to lay in my bed for a while, but I didn't show you that clip. But yeah, he was a wreck because he's like, Gunnar, you fucked me up, dude. Like, what is the deal with this?
Nice.
So anyway, we got sidetracked here. Miami's -7 in this game. They're 3-3. They come off their home loss against Minnesota, but the big news out of South Florida for them is they get Tua back this week. He's playing. I think they started, if I'm not mistaken, I'm sure the in-laws will correct me, but I think they started out the season 3-0, and now they've lost 3 straight. But probably largely a part of the fact that the quarterback's been hurt in those 3 games. They get Tua back. Are they going to beat Pittsburgh by 7?
Is everybody else playing?
I'll tell you what, Miami's defense played a lot. They played, for sure, their best game of the year last year. There was another team like, where's this defense at that showed so well last year? They hadn't played well through the first 5 weeks of the season. They played pretty darn well last week against Minnesota, and Minnesota brings a pretty, strong offensive game to the surface.
I'm taking Miami.
I'm taking the Steelers. I think Mr. Trubisky plays. They're not going to win this game, but I think it's under 7. The number's too big for me. I like Pittsburgh if Mr. Trubisky plays quarterback. Hopefully, Miami could win this game by more than 7. They certainly could with the big plays from Waddle and Hill and things like that. But I like Pittsburgh to keep this close. I certainly like Miami to win the game, but I'm taking the points with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Mercifully on the Monday Night Football, the Chicago Football Bears travel to Foxborough to play the New England Patriots. The Bears are 2-4. New England's 3-3. New England's 7.5-point favorites in this game. The over/under is a underwhelming 39.5 points in this game. Chicago, we talk about them first. They lost against Washington because Dan picked them as their elephant pick. We can talk about New England now. No, I'm kidding. But the Bears, literally,
They can't friggin' score.
they dominated the
They
game.
get down there and can't score.
Dan's absolutely right. They outgained the Washington football team by 200 yards. They had the ball inside the 6-yard line 3 times, and they got 0 fucking points. 0 points. It's got to be better. Both sides of the ball have to be a little bit better for Chicago. But look, Justin Fields and my kids were a little bit disappointed. I'm like, draft another quarterback. I was really down on him. But I watched some more stuff. He's an elite athlete. In regards to that, he made a huge play to get them down there at the end of the game. His receiver should have caught the ball on 4th down. He's a really good deep ball thrower. I don't like the way, I feel like he doesn't read things quick enough. Specifically, there was a play where he threw the ball deep to Mooney, and Mooney had taken the whole defense down the sideline with him, and there was a crosser that was wide fucking open. It's probably a touchdown because Mooney had taken that side of the team with him, running the route down the sideline to the end zone. So I feel like he doesn't see the field and doesn't make quick enough decisions. I don't know. Maybe that comes. I'm not going to give up on him yet, but that's enough talk about my football team. New England Patriots, they come off their impressive win in Cleveland. They dominated the game. They put up 38 points on Dan's Browns. Here's the thing. I think Mac Jones is healthy. I don't know how you take the job away from the Zappy kid.
No, that won't happen at New England.
Because of Belichick?
Yeah. No.
I don't know how you take that. I mean, they won two straight.
This is the Bledsoe-Brady conversation again.
Yeah, Zappy first appeared in the game in Green Bay in relief. And he played pretty well. They lost the game at the end in overtime. But then he's won his last two starts, and he's been impressive.
He made throws against us. I mean,
he
what the
100%
hell?
did. I don't know how you can
The
take
dude
that job.
threw it all over the place at college. It's not like he's new to throwing the ball.
And I'll tell you why this game was on the board on Monday night for the television networks and viewing. It's because it was supposed to be Fields versus Mac Jones. I don't think it's going to happen. I think it's going to happen. I think it's Fields versus, I don't know what the guy's fucking first name even is. Zappy. Fields versus Zappy.
Brennan Zappy?
I think it is Brennan, yeah. Dan pulled out the Western Kentucky Hilltoppers or something out of nowhere in the previous show. New England minus 7.5. They're going to win this game by more than a touchdown against the Bears?
No.
Me neither. As bad as the Bears played, I think it was an aberration, if you will, that New England offense put up 38 points. I think the Bears defense will acquit itself a little bit better than that. The Bears will try to run the ball, protect Fields. I think we got one of these games that ends up being like 20-17 or something like that. I certainly like the points in this game. Dan and I are both on the Chicago Football Bears.
Yep.
All right, on buys this week, Buffalo, the Rams, the Vikings, and the Eagles. It is time for our best bets, as we call elephant picks on our little show.
Arizona.
Thursday night again. Dan's going early. God, I haven't looked at this. This is going to take a minute. Dan, if you want to talk about something, you can. Because I don't like the board again this week. I don't.
It was either them or Chicago.
Oof. No, you better. No way. You jinxing motherfucker. No way.
Green Bay. Tennessee.
I think the Vegas Raiders come out and play really well. Minus 7 against a depleted football team in Houston. I like them to win that game by more than a touchdown. My other game, I was going to go with Kansas City. I like Kansas City.
I was going to go with Kansas City, too.
That's the full week. Dean is on elephant pick. Arizona early.
Or Kansas City.
And I am on whichever one cashes. I'm on Las Vegas minus 7. Dan, both like Kansas City for additional play. We are on to the bonus college football tip. Comes to the Pac-12. We haven't done any of their games yet. The 9th-ranked UCLA Bruins playing the 10th-ranked Oregon Ducks. Oregon at home at Autzen Stadium. Minus 6 in this game. The over-under a whopping 70 points. UCLA comes off a huge win against Utah. They're undefeated. Chip Kelly's undefeated at 6-0.
Wait. Did I watch that game? Utah?
I saw the end of it. It was Saturday night. It was late.
Won. Who's the coach at Utah?
Oh, I don't know. Wait, I thought they did win too. Wait, did they beat it? Oh, they beat USC maybe last week.
Utah beat USC.
I might have a bad number. I might have a bad thing. I think I wrote that without looking at it. Oregon, they're 5-1. They got absolutely demolished by Georgia the first week of the season, but they've been on a tear since. Minus 6 in this game, Dan. What do you think?
Minus 6. UCLA is minus 6.
No. Oregon's minus 6 at home against UCLA.
Chip Kelly's old school.
Oh, yeah, I never thought about that. The quarterback for UCLA is Dorian Thompson Robinson, maybe. I feel like that guy's played like 8 years. I don't know. I feel like I've heard that name forever. I don't know.
Man,
Oregon's quarterback's Bo Nix, the Auburn transfer, but they played really well. They played really well.
UCLA.
I like the points, too. I think this game, obviously, Vegas thinks it's going to be a shootout.
Bo Nix did it for me.
Whoever gets the ball last, I like it to be under this number, 3, 4, maybe 5. But Dan and I are both on UCLA getting the 6 points, right?
Yeah.
That's been your full show. Next week will be the Halloween edition of the show.
Be scary. Look out.
You got your costume ready for the show?
It would look similar to what I'm wearing now.
All right, very good. Hopefully you got it right for you. Hopefully you guys had fun. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. We'll be back next week.
See ya.
All right.